Hey y'all, so if I told you that this project was easy and quick, I would be lying. Hey y'all, welcome to my channel. I'm Patrice. If this is your first time here, please be sure to look at the other content. I love crafting and making all the things. I use Cricut, StarCraft Solo, Glowforge, UV printer, DTF printer, and also one of my faves, embroidery. So if you look at the content and you see something that you like, please be sure to click the subscribe button. Also, make sure to head over to Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok and join the Craftable Things community there as well. For my returning subscribers and members, hey y'all, welcome back. So y'all, my cousins and my auntie, they're going on a Disney cruise and they asked me to make them a few things. And one of the things they wanted me to make was some magnets. Now, I've made magnets several times before using both my Explorer 3 and my Maker 3 and the original Maker. And they need these magnets because you have to have magnets on your doors on this Disney cruise. Well, y'all, when I went to go use my Explorer 3, it died on me. And I could not use it. And I intended on using it because I really do like using the Explorer 3 with the deep point blade when I'm cutting my magnets. So I just had to switch over to the Maker 3, which I've done this numerous times with the Maker 3. However, this time I decided that I wanted to use the deep point blade with the magnet instead of using the knife blade, which I typically use. Well, that gave me a little bit of stress, but we still managed to get it done with the deep point blade and the Cricut Maker 3. So y'all, let's make these Disney cruise magnets for my family. Let's get started.
Before we get started, we're going to calibrate our machine, and this is very important when doing print and cut or using the knife or rotary blade. So today we're going to be doing a print and cut project, and this will make sure that the Cricut cuts our images out precisely. So the system will walk you through every single step. This is pretty much in fast mode, but the system will walk you through every single step. You want to do a basic calibration, and then you want to do the next calibration after the basic, just to make sure that everything cuts correctly. So check us out. I'm going to walk you through the remaining steps, and then we're going to get into getting our magnets done. Alright, so we did our first cut and it looks like this. So does the cut line touch the printed line all the way around? If we had this result, it would be yes, but it doesn't. So we're going to say no, and we're going to click continue. Now you want to make sure you leave your mat inside of the machine. Don't take it out. Next, the machine will cut lines through the lines at the top and the bottom just to continue to refine the cut of the print and cut. So you want to make sure this is being done, and you want to continue after the basic calibration is complete. Okay, it's done cutting. So without unloading, we need to look and see which numbers and letters are closer to the center of the mark line, or the cut is closer to the center of the mark line. Okay, so the top line, we had number 14, so we're going to click 14, and for the right side of the paper, the right line, we have N. Okay, so it says that the basic calibration is complete, so we're going to go ahead and do another print and cut. So now we're done with calibrating our machine, and that is a necessary step. I kind of did it at the end, but you guys are seeing it first because I want you to do it first. We are going to import some images into our software, and I purchased these images from Etsy. Remember, certain images are trademarked, so you want to be careful when you are reselling or selling any items that do not really belong to you, or any characters that you know are well known and trademarked. So today we are going to be doing print and cut, so I am going to select the option on the right. This is a PNG file, so it does import in as a print and cut. So now I've uploaded all of the images that we're going to be using, and I just want to minimize the screen. I'm not minimizing any of the artwork, just the screen itself, I am going to head over to the left panel and select shapes. I will create an 8.5 by 11-inch sheet so that I can just kind of line it up on the sheet. I'm using this as a template. So of course I'm going to unlock the proportions button under size, and we're just going to type in 8.5 under the width, and for the height we're going to use 11 because that is the size of the sheet of paper that we will be using today. So I am going to maximize the screen again, and we're going to start placing the designs on top. We're going to bring that to the front, and right now this is measuring at a 6.382 by 8.152, and I am going to minimize this. The designs that I uploaded, these are all PNG files. So with PNG, these are usually meant to be either print and cut for the most part, especially when it's a full color design like this, but you can turn this into a cut only file. So now I have all of the images laid out on an 8.5 by 11 piece of paper or square, just to make sure that it will all fit. Now we need to go ahead and just remove that square for now. So I hit it, and I am going to flatten all of the images. They're already flattened individually, but I want to flatten them all together so that they will print out on one sheet together. As you see, it's saying that it's too large for the size sheet that we have, so I'm just going to click onto auto resize. Next, I'm going to prepare the next magnet, and we're pretty much going to follow the same steps, except there is a lot of clear space in this particular image, and so I'm going to create an offset around the entire image, and just a 1/4 inch of an offset around. I don't want an overly large offset because I still want it to be very close to the actual design or the image. So now we're going to click apply, and as you see, there are some openings. So we need to remove those openings because if not, the Cricut will cut it. So with that offset, I need to turn it into a basic cut. Because I made an offset out of a PNG, it automatically was a print and cut offset. So now I clicked into contour, and I'm just going through and hiding all of those openings. So anything that you want to be closed, you want to select it, and now you see that this is pretty solid. There is a piece in the bottom left corner that I want to kind of connect, and so I'm just going to create a shape and send that shape to the back, and I'm going to select the larger offset, and we are going to weld that together. Once we weld that together, now it really looks pretty good, and it will be able to get the images that were behind it, because if not, then it would have been trying to cut those small pieces. All right, so now I'm going to select both the offset and the image, and we're going to flatten that. And now we're pretty much done with setting up our images so that we can cut our magnets out. So before we head to the printer, we are going to just look at this printable vinyl sticker paper that I purchased. I purchased this from Amazon. The brand is simply QYH, and this particular brand has 3 different types of printable vinyl sticker paper, and we have glossy, we have clear, and they also have a matte. For today's project, we are going to be using the glossy version, and let's just take a look at the paper just to see how it looks. So on the back, they do have some instructions and the print settings and instructions for use. Please choose the best print mode plus photo paper print. Do not select file printing mode and regular printing mode. Okay, so we'll test out the color and see how the color looks with the settings for the photo paper and the best setting. Okay, and it is glossy. It's not overly glossy, but it is glossy. You guys can see the glare to it. So we will get ready to load our printer. Today we are going to be using an Epson EcoTank 15,000 to print out our magnet stickers. Remember, this is print then cut. You cannot print from your Cricut. You can cut whatever you print though. So you can cut whatever we're going to print from another actual printer. All right, so let's get ready and print out our stickers. All right, guys, so now we are all done. I'm going to hide the square because I don't need it. And we are ready to click make it. All right, so everything is looking good on our sheet. And we have both designs set up. So we're going to get ready to click continue and print. Now, before you do print then cut, you want to always make sure that your Cricut machine is calibrated so that when you cut your designs, they will be centered correctly and your machine won't cut your actual image. It will make sure to cut around it. So make sure that you calibrate your machine. But we are going to click continue, and we need to send the first image to the printer. And the boxes around, those are your registration marks. So make sure that you protect your registration marks. Don't cut them or anything before you put them or load them into your machine. Next, I'm going to keep the bleed on. Typically, if there's text, I won't have a bleed on around text, but we are going to leave the bleed on, and we're going to open up the system dialog box. I'm going to select print. Now, what usually happens is that your print dialog box is going to go behind your Cricut Design Space app, especially if you have it as large as I have the app. So you're going to have to move Cricut Design Space down in order to see it. So I'm just going to drag the Cricut screen down, and there is our dialog box right there. So let me just bring it up so we can see it better. So now we need to set the settings for the printer, and I am using an Epson EcoTank 15000. I am going to scroll down to printer options and click the drop down menu. Within the drop down menu, I'm first going to select print settings. Under print settings, we need to select photo paper. Well, the instructions just said photo paper, so we're going to go with photo paper glossy since we have the glossy version. And print quality, remember they suggested to click best quality. And so after we're done with that, I am going to go in and adjust the color options just a little bit. We're going to click advanced settings, and I'm going to change the mode from Epson Vivid to Adobe RGB, and we will leave the gamma at a 2.2 gamma. And so now I'm going to click OK, and now we're ready to send this to our printer. Now we're done printing, and just be careful with the paper you use. Some papers, your ink might still be wet and it might not dry as quickly. However, this paper dried right away, and these images look beautiful. Okay, y'all, so our first sheet is printed, and for the base material, we will be using magnetic sheet 1.0 millimeters, and we are going to leave this at the default pressure. So let's get ready to set up our cutting mat and load our machine. The tool that we will be using today is the deep point blade. Okay, so let's head over to the craft table and get our cutting mat together. All right, so we are going to be using this magnetic sheet, and it is an 8.5 by 11. I do want you to note that when you're using this, there is a side that you need to apply the sticker paper to. It has less magnetic pull. One side is the side, of course, that you want to make sure is free and clear of the sticker paper. And that side, you just have to kind of test it out on maybe your refrigerator or something just so that you see. The top side is more smooth, and this is the side that doesn't really have the magnetic pull. However, when you maybe put on your refrigerator or anything that attracts the magnet, it will appear to stick, and then eventually it'll slide down, or it's super easy coming off, so you don't want that. So first we are going to go ahead and remove the sticker paper from the backing. And you can do it several ways. There are various ways that you can do it. I'm just going to lay it on the back like this and then apply the magnetic sheet on top. But if you want, I do have another video showing like how to keep the backing on and slowly place it on there. But I'm going to do it this way today. And I'm just going to lay this on top of the paper, and as I'm doing that, I'm just going to kind of smooth it out as I'm doing it. You can see it's not fully down. And I want to avoid as many bubbles as possible. Maybe one right there. Okay, so that turned out really, really good for us. I don't have any bubbles in it. All right, so let's get ready to apply this on the chopping mat or the cutting mat. For this cut, I will be using a strong grit mat, and I am just going to align it up in the corner, the paper, and I'm more so just aligning the paper, not really worried about the magnet too much. And I am going to take my brayer and just press it down even more into the cutting mat. You can also get some tape and tape your edges, preferably some painter's tape, and just kind of help it to stick to the mat even more. Alright, so today we are going to be using the deep point blade. And you can use this in both the Maker and also the Explorer series of Cricut machines. And I'm just going to remove the cutting blade that comes with the machine, and this is the fine point blade. So we are going to use the deep point blade. We're just going to place it in the housing. Make sure it's down, and we're going to close it. Now we're going to get ready to load our first set of stickers. So we're all done cutting our first batch of magnets, and there were a few things that I saw during this cut that made me realize that I needed to do the calibration, but everything for the most part still looks pretty good for me to give to my aunt and my cousin. And look at Minnie, but there's a slight bit of white around that ear. That's why the calibrations are very, very important. But as you guys see, I have like some lines on the surface, and it looks like that blade, the deep point blade, kind of cut through some of the top layers, but it still looks pretty good. I think next time I would just switch the housing and use the housing of the fine point blade that comes with the Maker 3 and not use the housing for the deep point blade and the Explorer. But for the most part, I'm pretty happy with these. I did cut it out again, and the cuts were a lot closer. However, I still had some dragging of the blade on top, so just note that. I think I'm just going to stick with the knife blade with the Maker 3 and the deep point blade with the Explorer 3. But now we are cutting out our other magnet that's going to go on their door, and we are just simply repeating the same steps as before. So we're all done with our next magnet, and y'all, this cut perfectly. The blade did not cut across the top, it looks amazing. So maybe I just had so much on the other sheet that when it was going from one design to the next, that's what happened. And as you see, I just got to punch it out. As long as you go deep enough to penetrate that back layer of the magnet, you can easily punch it out. It's not difficult for it to come out at all, as you guys see. And y'all, this looks really good, and I think this is gonna look really cute on their door. And so these are all of the magnets that I made for their trip. We personalized some magnets with their names, and so it's gonna go on their door. There are going to be, I think, 2 doors that need to be adorned in magnets, but y'all, I loved making these. These look absolutely so cute and adorable, and I can't wait to see pictures of how they have these magnets on their door.
And for the most part, the magnets came out pretty good. My family, they love them. I still gave them the magnets with the little line in between some of them, and they were perfectly fine. Now, if you are going to be selling these or possibly giving these as gifts to anyone, you may not want that. So with the Maker 3, I've had way more success cutting the magnet sheets with the knife blade than I have with the deep point blade. So that is something that I would continue using with the Maker 3, and I'll stick to the deep point blade with the Explorer. You want to make sure that you coat your magnets, especially if you're going to be using them outside. I have had a couple of customers who prefer having their magnets on cars, like they're putting it on their car, and I usually coat it with UV laminate or with a UV spray. So that's something that you may want to consider if you're looking to sell or even give them away. You don't want them fading right away when they get out in the sun. All right, y'all, so that's it. And the lesson for this project was, if it ain't broke, don't try to fix it. If you enjoyed this video, please be sure to give it a thumbs up. Also, make sure to head over to Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok and join Craftable Things there as well. But that's it for today, y'all. Thank you all so very much for watching. Until next time.